So earlier this week, I made a post saying that it doesn't sit right with me that there are white people who own property, multiple properties at that, in the United States of America, while Black and Indigenous people are experiencing homelessness. And I want to expand on that, especially for my new followers who are white, who followed me because of my anti-racist content. I'm glad that you're listening to me, but I really want to make sure that you're hearing what I'm saying. There will never be Black liberation or Indigenous sovereignty as long as the United States of America exists. If you want Black folks around the globe and in this country liberated, if you want Indigenous folks to be able to have sovereignty over the lands that they're indigenous to, then the United States of America needs to cease to exist. And I don't know if y'all are ready for that. I don't know if that's what y'all signed up for. I'm not sure if anti-racist work is just something you do to lessen the inconvenience of racism in your life, but I hope you're ready for this. It's not for the weak.
19 Black families bought 97 acres of land and they want to turn it into a city called Freedom. Real estate agent Ashley Scott was looking for some way to participate in the nationwide movement against police brutality and systemic racism without joining protests in the streets. She did not want to expose herself or her family to that virus I can't talk about on YouTube, but she wanted to make an impact. That's when her friend and fellow entrepreneur Renee Walters told her about a town for sale. The foundation of our structure is where the problem is. Finding a town, it felt like, okay, this is how you change the foundation of structure. In June, the pair went to visit the tiny town of Toomsboro, Georgia, which it turned out was not actually for sale, where they met dozens of other Black investors and scoped out nearby pieces of property when they came upon a plot of nearly 97 acres of land in rural Williamson County, Georgia. It spoke to my spirit, Scott said. Over the next 45 days, Scott said she and Walters created the Freedom Georgia Initiative and recruited 17 other Black families to purchase the land with hopes of developing it into an authentic Black community and culture that feels safe and feels prosperous. But for all you individuals that hear something like that and think, oh my God, they're making a city full of nothing but Black people, this is obviously segregation and anti-whiteness, and how dare they do such a thing? They want you to know that pro-Black does not mean anti-white. We don't want people to think that this is segregation. We just want to build a haven where we feel safe, and I find that to be completely acceptable. What I don't find acceptable is somebody, a Black woman, the most disrespected group of people on planet Earth, sitting here saying that we need the end of America for Black people to be liberated. How about instead you just say what you want to say? You ain't got no money to buy anything but piss and shit, and you mad that a bunch of other people got what you don't have. You're blaming individuals for owning property as to why Black people aren't liberated, yet you don't acknowledge the hard work that went into a bunch of Black families coming together like a community would and doing something in order to get something good out of it. Not to use it to sit there and say, hey, white people, look what I got. I'm so fancy. I'm better than you. White bad, Black good. They sat there, took the time and bought 97 acres. And if I use my white man math for a second, if I carry the 5, add in slavery, talk about Martin Luther King, bring up George Floyd, and make sure to hold my fist in the air, that comes up to 4 million square feet. That's a lot of penis. That's a lot of weenies all together, circle jerking, having a big old fun time. That's a lot of money you would put into to actually have something to create for a community, a space where you would actually have some good things. Not a lot of bad, but a lot of good. But no. We got to destroy America in order to liberate people. We must tear down an entire country in order to save a bunch of people. We must destroy foundations put in place for people to succeed, strive, or even overcome a couple of things, all because one person said so and because she thinks Black people aren't liberated. These individuals who bought all that land, oh, I bet they were catering to those old, so mystical white people. I bet they bootlicked. I bet they sucked some little bit of pistols and they had some little bit of testicles up in them. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. I just want to make make it clear that you want to destroy America all because white people got property, acting as if property is something that's just handed to you. You gotta buy that. You know those weird signs you can't read called for sale? That means you gotta buy that in order to own that. Sure, you could rent it, but a lot of people want to buy now instead of renting now. They don't want to spend their time paying somebody monthly or yearly or weekly or even daily just to say that they got a spot that they can sleep in. They want to actually own it. And these people, credit to them, they went and bought 97 acres of land. And I know what somebody might say, well, that's small compared to what these white people buy. Congratulations, you're moving the goalposts even more to sit here and say, hey, black people, you still suck because the white guy. And what bothers me is the lack of acknowledgement towards people doing a good thing who are black. I know you people like to sit there and say, oh, I tear down the black community. I don't do anything but make black people feel worse about themselves. What does it say about a guy pointing out that someone wants to destroy America all because white people got property, as opposed to sitting here and acknowledging how black people came together and bought land? Who's really the person hurting the black community? Who's really the person making black people suffer? Who's been the person that's been keeping it consistent with what it is they're talking about, not trying to make everyone feel accepted, not trying to cater to a bunch of people, just pointing out the obvious stupidity in what people say. And I would like to point out, wanting America destroyed just because you ain't got property is not everybody's problem. That's your problem. How about you get some money, whether through a loan or you getting some more of daddy's money, and you go buy some land and you go do whatever you want with it. No one is obligated to help you with what they got. They're obligated to do whatever it is they want to do with what they purchase. That is 97 acres of land. They could do whatever they want with it. They could have a town full of dildos, and they decided to build a community and a town. Is it going to be called freedom? Probably. Is it going to be something to help out people who need it? Probably. And it'll be a good thing. And guess what? The best part, it won't be full of all this hatred that you got in your system. You're sitting there complaining that white people got property. They're sitting there saying, hey, we don't want to be segregation. We don't want all this anti-white. We just want a place to feel safe. Good on you. That's the best way to go about it. The dumb way is to sit here and blame white people for everything, blame them for why you can't succeed, blame them for why you can't breathe, and to go on about your business. And all you want to be white heroes and sit there and say, oh, well, white people are disgusting, and how dare they own property? What gives them the right to own any of that property? Money. They got the money to do it, so they're gonna do it. Just like all these black families came together, they compiled all their money and got it. They went and got it too. What's the problem? Is the problem that white people own property and own some land? Or is it that you don't own any and you're bitter about it? And I know everyone's going to get mad at me. They're going to say I'm all these things. Well, guess what? No longer will I have to deal with your scrutiny because I have my white privilege card, and I will be using this to get the opportunities that many who share my skin complexion can't get. But that's besides the point. Subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next video. Jesus Christ, go buy some land.